Welcome to the deep dive. You know, there's something about sports, especially the underdog story, that just grabs you, right?
Absolutely. That whole hunt for the diamond in the rough.
Exactly. The player nobody saw coming who just explodes onto the scene. Fans love it. Teams need it sometimes. It's compelling stuff.
Yeah, finding hidden gems is sort of the dream scenario.
Well, that brings us right to today's topic, the Jacksonville Jaguars and their rookie guard, Wyatt Mainlam. We're diving into an article originally from Jacksonville Jaguars on SI, also on Yardbarker, asking, did the Jaguars find a diamond in the rough?
That's a great question to frame it. Sets the stakes.
It really does.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to unpack that. What's the buzz around Malum? Why the comparison to Dominic Cooney, who, let's be honest, was that unexpected breakout star last year?
Yeah.
What does this whole situation tell us about scouting, about player development, and just the wild unpredictability of the NFL?
It's a perfect case study, really.
Okay, let's unpack this. We've got a fantastic deep dive ahead of us today. First off, this term, diamond in the rough. It gets thrown around a lot, doesn't it? It's not just a cliche, is it?
No, not really, although it can sound like one. I mean, truly, it's about an athlete whose potential,
Yeah.
well, isn't obvious right away. Maybe their draft spot wasn't high or their college profile had some questions.
Okay.
But they have these underlying traits, you know? Maybe it's raw athleticism, maybe incredible work ethic, maybe something mental. And if they land in the right spot with the right coaching, boom, they can become exceptional.
And for the teams, this is more than just feel good, right? There's real value here.
Oh, huge strategic value. Think about it. The NFL has a salary cap, limited draft picks. Finding a high-impact player without spending a first-round pick or breaking the bank in free agency, that's a massive win.
A competitive advantage.
Exactly. It lets you build depth, develop talent internally, and maybe save those top picks, big contracts for, other critical spots. It's about smart, sustainable roster building.
That makes a lot of sense. And our sources point right to Dominic Pudini as the benchmark here. Tell us about his path. Why is he the comparison point?
Pudini's story is pretty remarkable. Played at Kansas, earned first-team All-Big 12 his last year. But the stat that really jumps out, and the source mentions this, 0 sacks allowed as a left tackle.
0 sacks. Wow.
Yeah, per PFF charting. And look, for anyone who doesn't live and breathe offensive line play, allowing 0 sacks all season, that's huge, especially in a Power 5 conference.
What does that signal, really?
It signals incredible consistency. Technique, footwork, balance, strength, processing ability against top college rushers week after week. It means he was technically sound, reliable, just didn't get beat cleanly. That's elite stuff.
So great college player. How did he end up a diamond in the rough then?
Well, despite that performance, he wasn't a super early pick. The 49ers actually traded up, which shows they saw something, but they got him at pick 86 in the 3rd round.
Okay, 3rd round.
And here's the key parallel with Milam. Yeah. Nobody, absolutely nobody, projected Pooty to start in year 1. He was viewed as, a developmental guy, learn the system, maybe contribute down the line.
Right, standard path for a mid-round pick sometimes.
Exactly. But then, the source puts it perfectly, the injury bug devoured San Francisco's veteran guards over the summer.
Circumstance.
Completely. Suddenly, they needed him. And he wasn't just a warm body filling a spot. He stepped in and absolutely crushed it. Started all 17 games.
All 17. As a rookie 3rd rounder, not expected to start.
Yep. Led the entire team in snaps 1,078. And the reports highlighted his mature game. Played like a vet, not a rookie thrown into the fire. And you had teammates, coaches, everyone just singing his praises. That tells you a lot.
This is where it gets really interesting. Pooty's story is a compelling example of opportunity meeting preparation. What does it tell us about the unpredictable nature of rookie seasons?
It tells us that talent and readiness are crucial, obviously, but opportunity. Opportunity can be the game changer. Punak had the goods. That 0 sack season wasn't a fluke. But it was the injuries that opened the door for him to show it immediately.
So a guy could be ready, but just stuck behind veterans.
Exactly. Depth charts matter. But when that chance comes, whether it's injuries or maybe someone underperforming or just blowing everyone away in camp, if you're prepared, you can grab it and run. Pudon did.
It really highlights how fluid NFL rosters are. Plans change fast.
They absolutely do. Teams plan meticulously, but injuries happen, guys develop faster or slower than expected. Coaches have to adapt. Rookies who are ready, mentally tough, and talented enough to handle the pressure when that unexpected chance comes, they're the ones who break through. Pudoni's story is proof that, not projected to start, is just a starting point, not the final word.
That's incredibly insightful. Okay, so that sets the stage perfectly. Let's bring it back to Wyatt Millum, the Jaguars' hopeful diamond in the rough.
Right. And to understand where Malum fits, you have to look at what the Jaguars were doing this offseason. The source mentions mass changes, a real strategic effort to reshape the roster.
Targeting specific needs.
Precisely. Adding talent to address their most significant roster needs. And the offensive line is almost always a critical area for teams looking to improve.
Why is that investment so key?
Well, it boils down to two fundamental things for any offense: protecting your quarterback and being able to run the ball effectively.
The basics.
The absolute basics. A shaky O-line can kill drives, lead to turnovers, injuries, just cripple the whole operation. A strong line gives your QB time, opens running lanes, lets you control the game. It's the foundation.
So investing in the line is investing in the whole offense, really.
Exactly. It's about protecting your biggest asset, usually the quarterback, and enabling everything else you want to do offensively.
Got it. So the source calls Milam a potential quality addition. Who is he? What's his draft story?
Okay, Wyatt Milam, third-round pick, number 89 overall. But here's a key detail, like with Pooney. The Jaguars traded up to get him.
Ah, they moved up. That says something.
It says a lot. Trading up, especially in the mid-rounds, signals strong conviction. It means they likely had him rated higher than 89, saw specific traits they loved, and didn't want to risk losing him. It shows a clear plan and belief in his potential.
But like Pooney.
But like Pooney, the initial projection isn't immediate stardom. The source is clear. No one projects him to start in year one right now.
So developmental prospect.
That's the label.
Yeah.
Reinforces that diamond-in-the-rough idea. He's not expected to step in week one and be the guy. He needs time, refinement, maybe adjusting to a new spot, which we'll get to. That developmental expectation is exactly why the Pooney comparison is so intriguing.
And it's not just internal team hope, right?
Yeah.
Gennaro Felice at NFL.com chimed in.
Yeah, that's significant. Felice said the Jags may have found a quality addition, and specifically asked if Milam will be this year's Dominic Pooney.
Why is that specific comparison so powerful coming from an outside analyst?
Because it immediately elevates the conversation. It's not just the team saying, we like our guy. It's a respected national voice saying, hey, I see the parallels here. I see the potential for that kind of impact.
It puts him on the map.
Definitely. It frames him within a known success story. It suggests Felice sees similar traits, similar circumstances, maybe similar potential for that unexpected breakout. It gives fans and other analysts a concrete reference point and ramps up the anticipation around his development. It changes the narrative.
Okay, let's dig into his college play then. The source hits this point hard. Like Pooney, Milam earned first-team All-Big 12 honors, allowing 0 sacks per PFF's charting. We talked about Pooney's 0 sacks. What does that stat tell us about Milam?
It tells us largely the same thing. It's just as impressive. 0 sacks as a starting left tackle in the Big 12. That speaks volumes about his consistency and his technical proficiency at the college level.
Against top competition.
Against future NFL players, week in and week out. It means his technique, his footwork, hand placement, balance, held up consistently. He had the strength to anchor against power rushes. He had the mental side, processing stunts and blitzes.
So reliable.
Extremely reliable. It shows a high floor. You know, this guy understands how to protect the quarterback, how to execute his assignments against very good players. It's not just potential. It's proven college production at a critical task.
Yeah.
That's why PFF grades are so valuable. They capture that kind of essential performance.
That's crystal clear. But here's a big wrinkle. College left tackle, but the Jaguars drafted him to play guard. That's a significant switch, isn't it?
Oh,
What are
right.
the challenges there?
Oh, yeah. That's a crucial piece of the puzzle. Moving from tackle to guard. It sounds simple, maybe, but it's a different world inside.
How so?
Well, think about tackle, especially left tackle. You're often isolated on an island, dealing with speed rushers, guys trying to bend the edge. You need great footwork. Length helps. You're working in more space.
Right.
Guard is tighter, more compact. It's often about power on power. You're dealing with big defensive tackles trying to push the pocket straight back. Quick stunts, double teams are common. The action happens faster, right in your face. Less space, more brute force, and quick reactions needed.
Okay, different skill set emphasis then. How do Manolam's strengths translate? Liam Cohen, the Jags coach, had some thoughts.
Right. Cohen's quote is key here. He said, specifically with Wyatt, I think you see some of the lengths, the size show up, especially inside a guard, playing a position a little bit foreign to him.
So his tackle length is actually an advantage at guard.
Potentially, yes. That length can help him initiate contact early, keep those powerful interior guys off his body, gain leverage in those tight quarters. His size obviously helps with the power aspect needed inside. So while the position is new based on last year, the physical tools and the length and size he used at tackle might actually play really well at guard. The Jags clearly believe those traits are transferable, maybe even better suited for the inside.
That's fascinating. Cohen also said something else, that classic O-line quote. Typically, when you don't notice those guys up front, it's a good thing. Why is being unnoticeable such high praise for a lineman?
It's
Yeah.
the perfect encapsulation of offensive line play. It's high praise because, think about it, when do you usually notice an offensive lineman?
When they mess up, right. Holding calls, false starts, giving up a sack.
Exactly, when something goes wrong. So if you don't notice them, it means they're doing their job seamlessly. They're not committing penalties, not getting beat, not disrupting the play. They're just quietly, effectively executing their assignment, play after play.
Consistent, quiet efficiency.
That's the goal. It means they're reliable, dependable, allowing the skill guys to make the plays. It means the offense is functioning smoothly because the foundation is solid. It's the ultimate compliment for a lineman because their success is often defined by the absence of mistakes.
So Cohen saying that suggests my Philim is already showing signs of that clean, fundamental play.
It certainly implies he's grasping things well, playing fundamentally sound even while learning a new spot, which leads to that overall projection. Not starting now, but expected to develop into a contributor. That's a solid baseline expectation for a rookie third-rounder.
Okay, but development isn't guaranteed. The article is clear. Milam will soon face much stiffer talent than he did at West Virginia. Talk about that jump from college to the pros for an O-lineman.
Yeah, that jump it's massive.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's probably the biggest jump for any position group. That zero-sack season in the Big 12 is awesome, but the guys he'll face on Sundays, they're a whole different species.
Faster, stronger.
Faster, stronger, way more explosive off the ball, but also technically light years ahead. They have sophisticated pass rush plans, counters to your counters, incredible hand usage. They're masters of leverage.
And smarter too, presumably.
Oh, absolutely. They diagnose plays instantly, recognize protections, exploit tiny weaknesses, the mental speed of the game, the complexity of NFL defenses. It's a shock to the system for most rookies. That margin for error just vanishes. A tiny mistake that you got away with in college, that's a sack or a tackle for loss in the NFL.
So a steep learning curve ahead.
Extremely steep. His technique, his strength, his mental processing, everything has to level up significantly and quickly.
Given he's not expected to start right away, what does that development process typically look like? What's the focus?
It's a multi-layered process and usually requires patience, especially for O-linemen. First, it's intense technique refinement, working with the NFL coaches daily, drilling footwork, hand placement specifically for playing guard at the pro level. That transition is huge.
Getting the muscle memory right for the new spot.
Exactly. Second, it's building NFL strength. Not just lifting weights, but building functional power that translates to anchoring against 320-pound defensive tackles and driving them off the ball. That takes time in a pro strength program. Third, mastering the playbook and building chemistry. O-line is all about communication and cohesion. He needs to know the playbook inside out, make the right calls, and develop that nonverbal understanding with the guys next to him. That only comes with reps and film study.
And then just adjusting to the speed.
That's the big one, adapting to the sheer speed and violence of the NFL game. Processing things faster, reacting quicker, sustaining it for a full game, a full season. It's a grind, mentally and physically. Teams know this, especially with mid-round linemen. They draft them often, viewing them as year 2 or year 3 contributors. It's an investment.
Makes sense. It's a long game. So bringing it back to Pooney, if Milam is to follow that path to rookie renown, what needs to happen? It wasn't just Pooney's talent, right? There was circumstance involved.
You hit it exactly. Talent is the baseline. But replicating Pooney's immediate impact requires that perfect storm of talent, preparation, and opportunity.
Like injuries.
That's the most direct parallel. Pooney got his shot because veteran guards got hurt. If something similar happens in Jacksonville injuries, or maybe a starter really struggles, that could open the door for Milam much earlier than planned. It's the harsh reality of the league.
Or could he just win the job outright?
Absolutely. If he comes into camp and just blows the doors off, masters the guard position instantly, dominates veteran defenders in practice and preseason, he could force the coach's hand based purely on merit. Show that mature game Cohen hinted at.
And the coaches have to be willing to trust a rookie, too.
Crucial point. Cohen's positive comments are a good sign. But Milan needs to keep earning that trust, showing reliability and mental toughness. If he does, maybe they don't wait for an injury.
So if he impresses but doesn't start right away, what might his role look like?
He could definitely carve out a role. Maybe he comes in for certain run-heavy packages if he excels there. More likely, he establishes himself as the top interior backup, the first guy in if someone goes down or needs a breather. That gets him valuable snaps, lets him adapt without the pressure of starting immediately. It's a good way to ease him in.
Okay, zooming out a bit, what does finding a guy like Milam, a potential third-round steal, mean for a team like the Jaguars in the bigger picture? How does it impact overall team building?
Oh, it's incredibly impactful. Finding starters or even just strong contributors in the mid-rounds is how smart teams build sustainable winners. It's all about value.
Return on investment.
Exactly. You're getting potentially high-level production for a mid-round cost, both in terms of draft capital and salary cap space. That rookie contract is gold.
What does that allow a team to do?
It frees up resources. You can use your first-round picks on those premium positions, QB, edge, corner, knowing you've hopefully found a solid starter on the line later on. It lets you build depth across the roster without breaking the bank. It gives you cap flexibility to maybe keep another key veteran or sign a targeted free agent.
It creates options.
Tons of options. It helps you avoid being top-heavy with just a few expensive stars and no depth. Consistently hitting on these mid-round picks allows you to build a deep, talented, and financially viable roster that can compete year after year. It's less flashy than a top 5 pick, maybe, but it's fundamental to long-term success.
It really does seem fundamental, and stories like Milam's or Punini's, they just hammer home that draft projections are educated guesses, not guarantees. How does this remind us about the human side of it all? The unpredictability.
It's such a great reminder of that. We get so caught up in mock drafts, rankings, combine numbers. And they matter, of course. But at the end of the day, we're talking about young players making a massive life transition.
The leap is huge.
Huge. Adapting to the speed, the physicality, new schemes, new city, the pressure. It's immense. Some guys handle it better than others, regardless of their college tape. Adaptability is huge.
An opportunity, like we talked about.
Right. Being in the right system, with the right coaches, getting that chance at the right time, it can make all the difference. Fit matters. Sometimes a player just clicks in one environment where they might have struggled in another.
It challenges that idea of sure things.
Definitely. It shows that talent evaluators are good, but they're not perfect. Value can come from anywhere in the draft, and it highlights those unquantifiable things too. Grit, work ethic, football IQ, resilience. Stuff that's hard to measure but often separates the guys who make it from those who don't.
The human element.
Exactly. It reminds us that while data and scouting are vital, a player's journey is shaped by so many factors beyond just their raw talent. That's why the draft is always exciting, always full of potential surprises.
Well, this has been fascinating, really digging into what makes a diamond in the rough. We've looked at Wyatt Malum, used Dominic Clowney as that compelling comparison, and talked through all the factors, the 0 sacks, the move to guard, the coach's praise, that big jump in competition. Hopefully this deep dive gives you, the listener, some real context beyond the headlines.
Yeah, it's a situation worth watching for sure.
Absolutely. So, as you watch the rookies this fall, maybe think beyond the box score. How much is raw talent driving success? How much is it circumstance, that unexpected opportunity? And how much is just landing in the right place with the right team at the right time? Is it more about the player themselves, or is the situation they land in just as important, maybe even more so? Something to think about as the season gets going.